Okay. So, just makes me wonder how Craftsman got away with that. Or what's going on here. This is now the second one in the past 2 weeks that actually tried to get a display of that. It's hard to tell, but you can slightly see it appears as if it's off alignment, that belt. And according to last week's, it was. Now last week's I wasn't shocked because last week's was a lot older of a unit, but this is brand new almost. And something don't quite add up. The customer said that he barely used it, which makes sense. There's still tits on the tires here. Came in with a fuel-related problem, but more so a problem that either happened. Well, he said when he removed the spark plug, the threads came out with the plug in some places, which basically caused thread damage. So I got this in here as best we can at the moment, which it's running just fine. The problem was, as I'm listening to it, when I went back into the shop, I kept hearing that noise when I would disengage and well, it was just happening, and then I went and re-engaged and disengaged, and it was definitely more prevalent. Almost as if the bearings on this main auger were bent, but out of place, but it also was looking as if when it was spinning, that this might be bent. There's another one in the shop right now that has the same problem. It's literally all tore apart because this is bent. Now, this was very evident because the customer clearly hit something the way that this was folded over, so I was kind of expecting to see something bent here. However, when we go back over here, this customer never mentioned anything about hitting something. Now, he may have forgot. That happens from time to time, but if the customer was being in fact honest, like I believe he was with the spark plug, I'm just wondering how Craftsman got away with the quality control letting go on this. If that was because of Craftsman and their poor ability, it may have been, to just inspect that and make sure everything was true, or whether it's because this belt is misaligned ever so slightly, or the bearings are worn out, which the bearings feel fine. I don't believe the pulley is out of alignment as bad, definitely not as bad as one last week in which we had to correct. But the only thing I can see right now is that this shaft here looks similarly bent to the one last week that was bent so bad it was blowing the bearings out of that case you can see there right in front of the puddle oil. It was oblonging all the bearings and bushings because they kind of got away with using it like that for a couple years, which is there's nothing wrong about that. They just weren't aware of what was happening. But in this particular case, I'm just wondering if, unfortunately, this guy kind of got, I don't want to say ripped off, but if this is all from a brand new unit and none of this was from failure and neglect of use as a customer, I'd be pretty disappointed in Craftsman for allowing a product like this, which is supposed to be, and in my experience in the past, seemed to be relatively reliable. But more and more cases are showing up where things like this are happening, and I'm not saying my customer isn't forgetting something or something's not in line with the stories, but it's happening more and more often, and the stories are aligning to be similar as, the customers are honest about it. Like in that case, when they clearly hit something, they had no problem saying it, and that allowed me easier direction on to where I needed to go. And then this case, I believe he was being just as honest as well, but we fixed the spark plug issue. We then tackled the fuel problem. She's running just great. It's just, I never would have expected that after we have this, what appears to be brand new conditioned piece of equipment, now running like a champ, it's making a weird noise coming from, the belt system here. So it's just unfortunate. And yeah, I'm gonna get back to work now because there's people calling. Like, share, subscribe, be blessed.